Ghost of Carolyn D. Fonseca here. This episode, Sam has a special guest. Let's let them introduce themselves.
Oh, well, I am Hot Toddy.
I am Danger Dave.
And together we are the Stolen Stitches Sideshow, America's favorite B-movie horror circus sideshow.
We bring classic circus sideshow with a spooky schlock horror twist.
And then whenever we're not doing that, we are huge horror movie buffs. We have a 2-year-old that we took to go see Blood Feast. Whenever
Unfold, I'm right.
Yeah, so we're part of the drive-in Monsterama family. And you know, when we do our shows, we do really like to pay homage to the movies that inspired us, but you know, also kind of leading into like the schlockiness and the sleaziness. So, you know, we were excited to come on and talk to you because we're actually not going to be talking about any horror films today. No, these are very, very different. So this is like kind of the deep cut Stolen Stitches.
Yes, the deep cut, somewhat, wouldn't say controversial, not really, but just something that, definitely needs a little more explaining, say, for at least one of them.
I think both of the directors of the movies that we're going to talk about are controversial for very different reasons.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I like this.
So, but to varying degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Whoever wants to go first, tell me about your pick.
Or how about you go first?
Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah.
My pick is from 2005, directed by Barry Blaustein. He was a comedy writer for Saturday Night Live and also did Coming to America 2 is its own category, but mine is 2005's The Ringer.
Every few years, out of millions of competitors around the world, only one special athlete will cross the line. From Fox Searchlight Pictures comes the thrill of victory and the agony of deceit.
We are gonna fix the Special Olympics.
Debbie, highly functioning, developmentally disabled.
All right, look at you.
All you have to do is act like one of them.
Debbie, go for Cuckoo Puff.
Not exactly a major stretch for you.
Go for gold. Go for gold.
That guy's the Deion Sanders of retards.
Oh, my lantern. You can't park here. It's a handicapped spot.
Well, you're handicapped.
It's for people who are physically handicapped.
No, I don't think so. Excuse me, my friend here has an IQ of 38. We can park here, right?
Let the games begin.
Celebrate good times. Come on. Celebrate.
These guys are great. A couple of them could be in the regular Olympics. Maybe on the French team. You look like Carl freaking Lewis out there.
You're busy.
Slow and steady.
You have to be a moron to think she'll fall for you. She thinks you're mentally retarded.
I want you to meet my fiance.
Wins the race.
I would definitely bring protection. Parker? I haven't seen you since high school.
Oh, no, I don't know you.
This is classic.
Johnny Knoxville is
How come guys like us never get the girl?
Don't lump me in with you.
the Ringer.
Do you need a hug?
Jeffy doesn't know what's happening to his body.
Okay.
Yes, it kind of did not get as much press as, I do appreciate Knoxville because he seems to have a love for topics that are not often known, I guess, as much in mainstream, but also has a very good heart with it. Along with this one, he did another movie called Action Point, which was a tribute to the, late 70s, early 80s amusement park in Camden, New Jersey called Action Park.
There's nothing in the world like Action Park. I can't wait to jump in the Tarzan pool.
I love the Grand Prix action from Action Park.
My kids love the ride.
Action Park is better than Broadway.
It's my first time in Action Park, and I love it.
They have more water rides here than anywhere in the world.
There's nothing in the world like Action Park.
If you ever get a chance, look it up. That park was basically if somebody who had no engineering degree decided, hey, make me a bunch of amusement park rides. It was pretty amazing. The fact that they had like a full looping water slide This was not designed by engineers. It was just, hey, here's a design. Like he drew it on a napkin. That was the design.
So the problem is that you're not defending that movie.
Oh,
No, I'm just saying it's a lot easier defending that than it is defending The Ringer. And I think in this particular case, like you were saying, how it's, like when you're on here, it's more about explaining. I feel like Dave actually has to defend.
Yeah, as I said before,
if you don't know what this movie's about, like, it's a hard sell.
It's a hard sell, but it has a weird heart to it too, though.
It does. It really does. That's what I said. Knoxville has, as weird as he is with Jackass, he does have a good eye for just more obscure ideas, and also just has a good heart. Like that movie Action Point was just a labor of love. It did not, I saw it in the theater. It did not do well, but he did it because he appreciated that. Now, going on with the movie The Ringer, it definitely did not get much attention, but it does have a really good heart and actually is endorsed and supported by the ADA and the Special Olympics. Like they gave their full seal of approval. They really like this movie. That said, I understand it would be a hard sell to somebody you see Johnny Knoxville, he's Jackass. Now the premise is he works, I believe, for some company where he has, his friend, the janitor, he works underneath him, and Johnny is fired from his job, and he realizes he has to let his buddy go, and his buddy does not have health insurance, and he ends up getting his fingers cut off in a lawnmower accident. So to help his friend, he decides, okay, I need to make money really fast. How do I do this? And he has an uncle who is very skeevy and kind of just the gross, weird guy.
Since when did tar become politically incorrect?
Good night, Uncle Gary.
And he says, hey, I got an idea for you. We'll make a lot of money really fast. He's like, what's that? He's like, we're going to rig the Special Olympics. And Johnny Knoxville, for a minute, he's like, what? He's like, yes, we're going to put you in the movie. We're going to put you in the Special Olympics. You're going to clear house. You're going to do great. Those guys can't touch you. And he's like, are you serious? Like right away, Johnny Knoxville is admittedly like, this is not right. I'm going to hell for this. And his uncle's like, no, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And early, it's not a spoiler, I'd say, but, early on, he goes into the movie. It's kind of played somewhat for laughs with his character because he's trying to think, I gotta give a name for himself. And he gives himself the name of Jeffy Dahmer. And
oh, damn. It does come right back for the horror perspective.
Yeah. He gives himself the name of Jeffy Dahmer. And he he does have, I can't remember the exact disease he says he has, but, he goes into the Olympics and it's at a big training ground. So they have everybody staying at these, different facilities, like all the contestants. And within the first, I'd say 10, 15 minutes of him meeting the other competitors, they all confront him one night and they say, we know you're bullshitting us. We know you're not actually mentally challenged. And he's like, oh shit. And you were thinking at that point, like, okay, where's the movie going to go? And they actually tell him, we actually want you to be here because there's a main, like an MVP in the Special Olympics named Jimmy, who is slightly more, I guess, slightly more athletic than a lot of them, and has kind of become the poster boy for the Olympics because I can't remember what his disability is, but he basically is able to just kind of dominate the Olympics time and time again.
But he's also
just basically an asshole. Yeah. They said, okay, we want you in this, but we want you to beat Jimmy. We need somebody to do it who can do this. They said, okay. And it begins him kind of training in the Olympics with them. And through the movie, he of course meets a love interest, Katherine Heigl, who's one of the volunteers there. And it's the weird balance of him getting feelings for her, but also her thinking that he is special needs athlete that he should take care of. And it's a weird, slight, like romance dynamic thing. You tell her, do you not tell her? But also, more so, it's him learning. And this is why I mentioned the top before. I feel like in a not to sound controversial, I feel like this movie is the closest we would get to a modern adaptation of Todd Browning's Freaks. Now, I say that with the utmost respect. Being a sideshow performer myself, back in the early 1920s of the carnival, the people that have disabilities they call them natural borns. In the circus, they are the the cream of the crop. They are the top performers. Like people that eat fire and sword swallowers were secondary. We were called working acts. In the sideshow, that kind of community was celebrated because they were the main stars and they got to basically say what they wanted to do. And other acts like that, like the working acts, we were kind of left behind, or not left behind, but just kind of secondary compared to those folks.
Can I
Yes.
mention, like, for reference, the Siamese twins that kind of got the phrase Siamese coin, Chang and Aang. Yeah, they weren't just the stars of the show. They owned several sideshow businesses. Like, they weren't just the people, like, calling the shots as, like, prima donnas. Like, they made enough money to, like, be the production. Like, that's how much of an influence they had.
Okay.
Yeah, just kind of adding the...
No, that's good to know.
But yeah, I'd say in regards to, like, in reference with Freaks, Freaks, it's something that always bothered me with that movie is people will say, how to say you've never seen the movie is say, oh, it's a horror movie. It's the scariest movie I've ever seen. And what Todd Browning's Freaks, if you've ever seen it, does, it humanizes these people that society has told, like, oh my God, you're terrifying. I can't look at you. Oh, this is disgusting. It humanizes them and gives them a voice. Like in the Freaks, the entire movie is made up predominantly by natural borns, like Johnny Eck, the half man, and Prince Randian, who has no arms or legs. That movie gives them all a voice and shows they're just like everybody else. They're regular people, same as all of us here. And I feel like with this movie, it really gives like a lot of the cast is made up of actual, disabled actors. I can't remember the one guy's main lead's name, but,
Glenn?
Glenn, yes.
I can't remember his name up there.
But yeah, predominant most of the cast in the movie, except for Johnny Knoxville and Katherine Heigl, are actually, mentally disabled and special need actors who do a great job. And it does a great job too of just showcasing, like early on, it cuts the point of where we know who you are. You know, you're not actually like challenged, but we want you to help us get back at this guy, Jimmy. And it does a great job of showing that basically they're just like everybody else. They're just like us. People can get in the mischief and have fun and just be stupid. And it's not that it's ever been dehumanizing for people that have been special needs, but I feel like in society in general, like I've worked a lot with, special needs folks at my old job at the theater. We had, done, the sensory friendly auditory performances for like the Nutcracker and other shows. We were the first theater to do that. And it was particularly for people that suffered with autism and other developmental issues. And we made a lot of different, accommodations to help to make sure everybody in there felt comfortable and felt like the movie where they're all just get into a big water balloon fight. And it's just a lot of fun to see. That's why I enjoy the movie a lot, because it showcases like, yes, these people may have special needs, they may need special accommodations, but at the end of the day, they're just like us. They're just having fun. And yeah, I think that's kind of, and admittedly with this movie, I mentioned it to Sam, they're like, okay, Johnny Knoxville. I'm like, yes, I know Johnny Knoxville, the guy from Jackass, the guy who got tasered for fun.
He could get past the first part. Like, that's what makes Johnny Knoxville work, though. It's like, it's such a hard sell to be like, okay, you have to pretend that you have a mental disability. And you have to kind of put on that kind of performance.
Yeah.
Because when that illusion breaks, you're going to give way for the people who actually have mental disabilities the chance to say, no, fuck you. We're still adults. We're not kids. And I don't think Keanu Reeves could do that first part.
Yeah.
I don't think that he has it, like, cause you do have to be like a little abrasive enough to take that on to be the fall guy.
Also, I love Brian Cox being in this because it's funny that Hannibal Lecter is in this like warm comedy, and he's also the voice of McDonald's now, which is crazy. But that's why I like this movie. It's just, and I think the thing I was thinking of is, as you brought it up, is it's a movie that invites you to laugh with it and not at it. And I think a lot of people that are like pearl clutching about these kind of things are like, well, you're making fun of these people. I'm like, no, like you're celebrating their life and enjoying them. And these are just funny moments. But again, it has the danger you guys talked about before we got on mic, like some of the South Park things. Like, you raise the danger of, are people laughing at it for the wrong reason?
I think that came out before South Park did it. And, with South Park, it's basically the same format, but just Cartman, you're supposed to hate Cartman from the get-go. And I think when he gets struck by lightning in the end or something bad happens to him, he loses. But there's no heart. He doesn't get the girl. He's Cartman.
Yeah. And there's a scene in the movie, I think like the thing that finally made me like stop clutching my pearls, because I had like a vice grip on mine for like the first 10 minutes or so of the movie. At a certain point, Johnny Knoxville's talking to his uncle, and like up until then, the R slur was used pretty flippantly, but his uncle says it to him at one point while he's like still in the Olympics and has made all these friends. His uncle says the word and he's like, don't use that word anymore.
Yeah.
And then nobody says it for the rest of the movie.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
And it's like,
he goes, don't say this word. These are my friends. Do not call them.
Yeah, don't call them that. And then it's like not even like other side characters. Like it kind of, I'm not going to call it fourth wall breaking, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
Not even by accident, not even by people who are antagonistic use the word after that point. So it does kind of take a lot of that responsibility of making sure that it's like, you're laughing with us. And if you're laughing at us, like, you're not the audience.
Yes. Well, like, at the end of the movie, the kids at Whitney High show up and I love them. And like, when the first album that they put out came out, there's a lot of people that would listen to it to laugh at it. Like, how, these kids are doing a record and they hear their voices. I love all their stuff. Like the song Insects is really good. And non-ironically like them. They're on Ipecac, Mike Patton's label. And it's awesome that I always tell people when they're like, oh, well, they just put out music so people can make fun of them. I'm like, no, like it's really hard to make an album.
Hello, everyone. This is the ghost of Carolyn de Fonseca. And I promised myself I wouldn't interrupt our guests this week. But I want everyone to pay attention to how many times Sam says like. Just imagine how many times he edited the word like out. And yet it's all over his podcast. Oh, Sam, you chud. Now back to the show.
Like, and they're doing it, and they've done a couple of them. They've done videos. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I just looking them up too. Like, I didn't realize like it was a full band. Like, and that's really neat. 'Cause I learned like they have a touring group, then they got the school, they have younger kids, like the junior kids are really high, and they each, like every year they get a new group just to kind of show them music, and it's this really neat thing that they do.
Yeah. It's been going on for, like 20 years, maybe more. And it's just, I think it's awesome. The other way that I came into this movie was, Barry Blaustein did Beyond the Mat was his first movie, the wrestling documentary.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit.
And then, Terry Funk's in this movie. He's the debt collector in the beginning. And, I love, Terry Funk was my hero growing up. That's who I wanted to be.
Yeah, he was a legend.
Jesse Ventura's in this briefly. He's like the motivational speaker's voice is Jesse Ventura. So like he had met them on Beyond the Mat, which is hilarious. But, yeah, I think this is a movie that like you have to like get to the point that you love everybody in it and start to laugh about it. It took 7 years to get made. And, but like, the Farrelly brothers really work a lot with Best Buddies and other mentoring groups and Special Olympics. So like, that's why they've always had like characters like, Warren and There's Something About Mary and some other movies where, like they want to normalize it and they want them to be like characters that you love within these movies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, didn't they come to realize too, and looking up the different, actors in it, that a lot of them, have been in other movies too. Like Glenn, he's in, I think StarQuest.
Yeah.
Galaxy Quest, that's it. And, what was the other guy? I can't remember the other guy's name. Okay. The one, he stars in Super Troopers in the early parts of the movie. And, just a lot of different, the other one, oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of them all gone a lot of other movies and TV shows as well. So it's really neat to see.
It's kind of like Willow if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This happens all the time whenever I write up about movies. It's like, okay, like if you were a smaller actor you were in Wizard of Oz, and you were probably in Terror of Tiny Town, and you were probably in those are the movies that have those big casts. And it's like, oh, but like some people were in like tons of stuff, like 50, 60 movies. And you're like, oh, wow, they're also this role and they're this role. Like Felix Silva's like that, where it's like, oh, he did a little bit of everything. Awesome.
That's what I say. It's understandably a hard sell, but I feel like Knoxville is the perfect person for this kind of movie, being that it's so ridiculous. Like you couldn't get like Liam Neeson or like any of the even just Naked Gun stuff, but just I feel like particularly with this, it's not while it has comedic moments, it's not meant to be a full on comedy. But I guess it's in my view, it's like a modern day retelling of Todd Browning's Freaks. It's like humanizing these people that society kind of says you should be just very careful with. It's like, no, they're fine. They're having a good time. You need to maybe rewrite yourself on it and just understand we're all the same here. This.
I'm obsessed with Freaks because it was like almost a Lost movie for a while.
Oh.
Where a couple, and it's like the people upset about it may have never seen it. Do you know what I mean? And like just the idea of it is why they were upset about it.
Oh yeah, that's what I hate when people say, "Oh, I've seen Freaks. It's the scariest movie I've ever seen. It was terrifying." I was like, "What was scary?" And then like they'll backtrack. Well, that scene where she turned into a chicken. I'm like, the scene where the lady's in a chicken suit, like that was scary to you in 1930s. Like not to knock the movie, but just that was the last bit of the movie.
Yeah,
and it's not scary by any means.
No, and it's. What I really love about it is like the cheap way of it would be kind of like a movie like The Sentinel does, where when it's using differently abled people. Love The Sentinel. Okay. Like, but I also know Michael Winter's a jerk. And like, that's why, he's like, instead of makeup, what if we have some people in here? Freaks can't do that. It's like the humans are the monsters in it. And like, I don't know if people realize that. And then I get that people worry about these things and horror embraces the other so much. So that's an easy label to put on it. But like, I remember reading about it as a kid and I'm like, I want to see this so bad. And then when I finally saw it, like the legend that it had built up, it's an awesome movie, but it's like, it's not terrifying. I think to the right audience, it isn't. Like it finds its people.
Sam. Do you even listen to your podcast? You said like 6 times in under 25 seconds. Be confident. You love this stuff. Why are you using filler words?
It's, I guess, true in general with stuff that can be taboo and different. Then I guess it's partly to a degree why it's like Sideshow and Natural Borns blew up or was so big during the 20s because they were coming to see these people that society said, "Oh, you shouldn't look at me. I have no arms or legs. I have this." And they were being paid to be looked at, but at the same time, though, they also kind of flipped the script. Like, yeah, you're coming to see me. You're giving me the money to look at me, living my life.
You're in the middle of this, like, really great point. Sorry.
No, that's.
So, Hot Potty, what is your pick? I'm excited to hear what you picked.
Oh, Jesus. So, I guess we talked about the Sideshow. Well, for a little bit here. So I'm going to briefly bring up part of the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I'm not just part of Stolen Stitches. Like I am my own person. Me and Dave, started off independently before performing together. My tag for myself and still is Pittsburgh's very own cartoon queer. I love horror. It has a very like deep root in who I am as a person. But before that, I am always a cartoon person. Mm-hmm. Loved animation growing up, still love animation now. And one of the things that people who maybe aren't as like deeply invested in film and television will forget is that, American cartoons were not meant for children.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't mean it excluded them, but children were not the target audience for like older, like rubber hose cartoons. And I decided to just sort of like lay this groundwork out, because the movie that I am here to defend, and, please tell me if anybody else has defended this, Cool World.
I did it on the show, but no one else has defended. So I'm excited to talk about it because it feels like a forgotten movie at this point and it deserves more.
It does. And Cards on the table, I am kind of talking about this without having done any like homework to refresh my memory or anything. But for anybody who does not know, the quick and dirty way to talk about Cool World is to describe it as Who Framed Roger Rabbit's raunchier cousin. Now, kind of like how, in my opinion, I like Ghoulies better than Gremlins. And much like how Ghoulies was in production before Gremlins was, but had a later release date, Cool World was in production before Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And it was in production hell for such a long time that it became a vastly different movie than when it was supposed to be. And if I'm trying to remember it correctly, the original idea for the movie was that there was a person who was able to go back and forth in between the real world, the human world, and what was given the title was like the Cool World. For those of you who have seen Roger Rabbit, that would be Toontown, a universe that is exclusively ran by and for cartoons. Very trippy. And the movie that we got that is Cool World, it has a plot. This feels like a movie that was made by a man who punched somebody in the face over a dispute of how it was going to be. It comes across that way. It's, I do believe this was during, everybody's favorite period of late 80s, early 90s cocaine relapse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, collectively Hollywood all did it. So this film's no exception.
That's anytime something happens in a movie from that era, and I'm like, well, cocaine, that's what makes it happen.
It is. The short version for people who actually want to know what the movie is about is there is, GI coming home, straight after World War I, comes back home to mom, gets into a motorcycle accident, mom dies, his world falls apart, and by sheer coincidence, that is whenever the rift between the real world, and the Cool World is open. And the GI gets sucked into the world of cartoons. And he now has the opportunity to learn about this new world since he doesn't have anything to come back to at home. We pick up from there to the futuristic 90s, where a cartoonist is slipping in and out of Cool World, and one of the cartoon people are going to attempt to use him to cross back over. Since, apparently that is something that hasn't really happened before. Why does she want this? Because Hollywood if she could. That is her name.
That's the tagline.
That's her tagline. Hollywood if she could. And she done do it.
Well, howdy, Nail. As you see, there've been some changes around here.
You are a biomorphic menace. I forbid you to take one step out of the Cool World.
You 8-armed ink spot. Who do you think you're dealing with? I'm real.
You made it with a noise. You don't know what you are. Mark my words, girly pie. You leave here, and it is trouble for you, too.
I'm leaving, Pencil Dick. You just try and stop me.
And that, I think, is probably the shortest explanation for what the setup of the movie is. What happens in the movie is a lot of sleaze, a lot of sex, a lot of rotoscope paired with crude animation, cardboard cutout lampposts on streets to save on background productions. And then there is also, people interacting in the real world where, cartoons bleed into it. I'm doing a really bad job of describing the movie.
No, I think you're doing a good job. It's amazing because it's such we talk about how hard it is to make a movie that you believe in, but he's not getting to make the movie that he really wants to make. Like Bashki had set up some crazy movies he was going to do before this. He was going to do Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He was going to do an animal version of Sherlock Holmes. He turned down directing Something Wicked This Way Comes and Blade Runner. And then he said, well, I'll make Catcher in the Rye. He would continually set up these unfilmable movies. He retired and then he hooked up with John Kerfosse, this is another separate the art from the artist person. And did Harlem Shuffle. And then he's like, oh, I need to get this movie going. And it's like, I remember when this came out, I was obsessed with Ralph Bakshi as a kid because,
yes,
like American Pop was a big HBO movie. And Fire and Ice was a huge movie to me. Like just the look of Fire and Ice is amazing. So it was like whatever he did, I was going to see. And then you throw in the soundtrack of this movie it's almost all thrill kill color. And it's like, wow, like what is this movie? And like, I think that was like, oh, well, it's Roger Rabbit for adults was like the buzz thing, like you said, that got around it to people. And then what Emma did is just wild. I think, do you like this movie more for what it could be than what it is? Or do you love what it is?
No, I like what it is.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of times, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit of that movie. Yeah. But that is a movie that uses cartoons to tell a narrative in a very conventional way and in the way movies are meant to have. I brought up the Rubber Hose cartoons because when that kind of animation came out and the kind of like setups and payoffs that are in that exclusively use cartoon logic. In Who Framed Roger Rabbit, there's like that, like traveling like black holes that you could just like kind of throw up to and no questions asked about it. That's, it's a big black hole that you paint on the wall. You could throw another one down and it acts like a little portal. Don't worry about it. Don't ask too many questions. But it's just kind of like saved for like those very sparse kind of moments. Cool World is a movie that is based solely on cartoon logic. Yep. Almost exclusively on cartoon logic. Even down to like how the movie ends. And I don't feel like we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
But it is all cartoon. It is all batshittery, but it's devoted to that. Now again, because of how rocky the production was, I don't know how intentional that is. But if you did have somebody who like has that background as an animator, as somebody who grew up in Harlem and has that kind of eye for that particular type of cartooning, like he doesn't follow like the Disney route of animation. He takes like the Tex Avery approach to things. And I love Tex Avery. That's like probably one of my favorite cartoonists of that particular generation, like right down to the horniness of the movie. And this is a
very horny movie.
I forgot to mention this.
Yeah.
I think with the synopsis, but, sex is why, everything happens.
Yeah. That's why you cross over in between the worlds.
That's why you cross.
That's like the apocalyptic event is when, and also what I love that there is a united thing between the two movies you picked. In this movie, the derogatory term is doodles for the people. Some humans look down on the doodles. And of course,
but they have another one for us and that's Noids.
Noids, yeah.
Noids do not have sex with doodles. Right? Noids do not have sex with doodles. The oldest law in Cool World. I've never had to enforce it, but you cross that line, and I'll slap you around and make you piss like a puppy. Jack, you think she's got a thing for you, don't you? That's sweet. But don't flatter yourself. She's a waste of ink.
Oh, yeah?
Truth is, she's been after me and every other Noid who's come through here. It's just that no one's been insane enough to get involved with her. You keep your pencil in your pocket. You know what I mean?
There are some Noids and doodles that want to bang. Like, if, and that's the thing is like, I think that is the reason behind so much hate in the world. This is my deep theory, but like, it's like, I don't understand this other and it's weird. Boy, I really want it, but everybody else is against it. So I have to become vehemently against it. But at night when I'm in my house alone, this is not me speaking. This is, but to these people, it's like, oh, I'd really like to have one of these doodles. But also if you have a Kim Basinger one, of course, like Kim Basinger in the 90s, like it is
Man, they nailed that animation for her. They nailed it. They captured her perfectly. So whenever, I guess for the audience at home, the Noid and the Doodle end up having sex. Oh God. Sorry. This is a lot.
I remember I saw this movie as a kid. I was maybe 10, and it opened up a whole new world of feelings I did not know. My mom made me turn it off. I got to the point where I think the Kim Basinger was like undressing the detective.
The whole thing with Kim Basinger in this film, that is Hollywood if she could. And the GI who gets sucked into the portal initially is in fact a very young Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And you can tell this is like movie number, 2, 3 for him?
Very early in his career. Yeah.
It's super early Brad Pitt. Like it's right after Donut Shop. We're going to pick you up off the streets, Brad Pitt. He is the police. He is the Noid policeman in the ghettoized Doodle City. He has a Doodle wife.
Well, yeah, who he's never had sex with. Because
who he's never had sex with. But that's the thing. That's the law. That is the segregation law. Noids do not have sex with Doodles. And I think, not that this has anything to do with real world implications. You're going to be in close proximity to the thing you're not allowed to do. And you're the person who's enforcing it. And then here comes somebody else, Peter, or, oh my God, I almost said Peter Gabriel. Gabriel Byrne.
Oh my God, I can do that. Only if he wore the Genesis face paint and when he was in this, that would be what it needs.
But yeah, that just you can tell that she has that background of growing up in New York and seeing officers like that, where it's you're going to be brutalizing a lot of the people that you're also fetishizing.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where the movie is so dumb and full of that kind of cartoon logic and was made so abrasively that particular element, a lot of people are going to overlook that.
Mm-hmm. I like that his partner Nails is also a nut. It feels like a Will Eisner character from The Spirit. It's almost racist, but not. Yeah, but it's so close. It's uncomfortable if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of comes from almost like some of the characters that he made in Coonskins, which now that admittedly I had never seen in its entirety, but I know that that's a very polarizing film of his.
Mm-hmm. He's a very polarizing figure through a lot of his movies.
He is.
Probably his biggest success is Fritz the Cat, and then it's a movie that he wanted to get away from. Him and Crumb wanted to get away from, and then the second one has nothing to do with him, and it's horrifying.
Was that bigger than Lord of the Rings, you think?
Oh, that's a good thought. I forget about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, because that's
I think critically maybe. Lord of the Rings is... I remember as a kid, they even had toys of his Lord of the Rings stuff and being like, this is wild that there's a whole rotoscoped Lord of the Rings. And and it starts with the second book. And it's but, I was the right age for it. I was 6 when it came out. So I was like, this is right up my alley.
Yeah, I like how gritty it is.
Yeah.
And when it comes to Lord of the Rings, I love the Peter Jackson movies. And I think you can tell that he did he liked what Bakshi did with the material because of that underlying griminess and filthiness, but then also allowing for these very soft moments that are in that. When he's not on cocaine, he's a very good director.
Yeah.
But then, you also have, actually, I can't even say that because I like warlocks too.
Yeah.
Or sorry, wizards.
Wizards. Yeah. The,
Wizards. Yes.
Yeah.
That one was almost exclusively made with cocaine.
Yeah.
But I really like it.
I think there's big parts of American pop that feel cocaine driven too, especially later in the movie. But I love his stuff. It's weird because back then there was this anime thing well, he kind of cheats because he rotoscopes. And now it's
no.
People are still drawing. Today people are just doing that with AI and that's cheating.
Yeah.
The rules of cheating will gradually get to the point where it's worse and worse. But, I always loved the look of his stuff, especially Fire and Ice, the way that the fight scenes look in it are incredible. Like, it's a beautiful looking movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what people don't realize with rotoscope too is like you still have to do the drawing by hand. Like, it's almost very reminiscent of how older silent movies, like very rudimentary silent movies, were made, where once the film was done, if you wanted to add color to things, those frames had to be painted by hand. And that was very painstaking. So even though you had movies that were only a couple minutes long, it took a very long time to make because of that. Rotoscoping is kind of keeping that particular tradition alive. And Dave and I were just talking about this. There's a horror game called Faith. So
8-bit horror game.
Yeah. So the designer, creator of the game, used like that 8-bit animation to, you know, kind of like give a retro feel to the game, but also kind of allow the story to take front and center. But there's these cutscenes in it where it is digital rotoscoping in 8-bit pixels, but it's of his own body moving. And what you kind of get is this very uncanny way of showing movements of monsters. So it creates this sort of weird fluid motion because it is like caught on camera normally, but with like this 8-bit filter of like very simple pixels. So yeah,
wow, that's awesome. But yeah, I wonder, like, does Cool World have a video game? Yes. There was a Super Nintendo game. Yeah. 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 Which I always think of Super Nintendo as the kiddie system, right? And it's like, you know, kids went to Blockbuster and rented it. And it's like, does the game have all of the themes of this movie, or is it just...
I need to know.
Yeah. I have, an emulator, one of the Raspberry Pis with everything on it. I'm going to go up and try it, and I'll put some noises from it in the episode. I can only imagine that the actual game is not as insane as the movie, because probably what happened is they got the script or like some visuals and they're like, make a game. You made me think about this with the 8-bit rotoscope thing. That's what all the licensed games, like the Ocean games from this era, are. Where it's like, it's just a very basic game, and then all of a sudden, here's a picture of Batman that's like an 8-bit rotoscope picture of Batman. Yeah. Oh, I'm in a Batman game. I didn't realize.
Chainsaw Massacre on NES? You know?
Oh my god.
I hated the Friday the 13th game is the hardest game ever, and it's like, but all those LJN movie tie-in games like Jaws, and which I played way too much of, and like, they're all horrible games, but you're like, I love Jaws. I want to love the video game.
So you both have played the, Jurassic Park Sega game where you have the option to play as the dinosaur.
Yeah.
I think if you were going to make a Halloween video game, you have to have the option to play as Michael.
The new one it's kind of like Dead by Daylight, where one person's Michael and the other person is. I had an idea for a game before the Friday the 13th came out. I don't know how I would make it, but it was like, you're the killer and you're first person as the killer. And then each time you get killed, it becomes the sequel. So that like the game starts over again, and you get more powers or less powers, or it gets weird. Suddenly you're in space. Yeah. I love, cash-in games so much. And like, but also like so this is way off topic, but my Jurassic Park experiences, speaking of being the dinosaur, my favorite Jurassic Park moment is always when Alan has that dream on the plane and the Velociraptor wakes him up on the plane.
Oh my god, it goes Alan.
Alan?
Alan.
Because that's the only thing left of the original script, because originally it was supposed to be about government black ops team of soldiers that had been given, Velociraptor DNA. And it was like Delta Force, but with soldiers. That's the Jurassic Park that I want, like a canon version of Jurassic Park. Like
Aliens. Jurassic Park, but aliens.
Right? This is why I think Terminator 2, the Italian one. I like aliens a lot. So it's like, if you could make Jurassic Park aliens, I guess Carnosaur does that too. Carnosaur's very that too.
Right.
Anyways, back to Cool World.
That was a journey. But you know what? I feel like this is appropriate because this conversation about Cool World, it's kind of like what the movie's like.
There's a MacGuffin, like the spike of power shows up at some point, and Frank Sinatra Jr. shows up at some point, and you're just like, is this what's going on? It becomes a Las Vegas movie at some point.
Yes. There is, random floating heads that will just go across the screen saying like God knows what. And it's just like, they come and they go. There are, cartoons on the corner of the screen that are, engaging in adorable domestic violence. There are rats gambling that'll occasionally tell people to beat it. There's things just like dancing in the background. It sometimes feels like watching somebody else's fever dream.
It's kind of like a reading Mad Magazine where stuff would just happen in the gutters, and do you know what I mean? Like these weird Sergio Aragonese sketches would just show up, and you're like, "What is this joke?" Like
a Where's Waldo?
Yeah, but that's
like an animated version of a Where's Waldo page.
And knowing that it's animation, like these little moments that happen, that was like months of somebody's life just doing these little rats. And like, are people noticing these moments that show up in it?
I do.
Yeah.
Notice.
My favorite, coming from the world of advertising, which outside of pro wrestling is the other part of my life, I love the fact that this movie caused such controversy because they put a cutout of Hollywood on the D on the Hollywood sign, and people lost their minds. It demanded to be taken down. It only cost them $40,000 to do this, which it should cost way more than that to do it.
Yeah.
And, they had to hire 2 park rangers to cart the sign, but people were so upset, like they demanded it took down, like, how dare you, ruin the Hollywood sign? It's like, Hollywood is a town made on sin and commercialism. Like, this isn't, the Hollywood sign is not that precious.
Her name.
Yeah. And it's like, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
This is also the era of, Last Action Hero where the NASA rocket that went up had Last Action Hero on the side of it. And people were like, these are the precious things to us that you can't put movies on. Please stop doing it.
The part of the movie that feels like at some point somebody had to like rein in on the cocaine fever dream was whenever Gabriel Burns does eventually have sex.
Yeah.
With Hollywood if she could. And then turns into a beautiful Kim Basinger. And they eventually like cross back over into the Noid world. And as a Noid, I'm allowed to say it. I can reclaim that word. They kind of do like the ET thing with her, or like the splash or mannequin or whatever you want to call it. What is it or the Little Mermaid moment. Yeah. You know, if we're going to like bastardize another animated classic, just her getting used to real people world stuff. And that is the most disruptive thing in the movie. It's like the most conventional filmmaking things, but it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Like with the rest of the movie. And then thankfully it doesn't last too long, because, for reasons I can't be bothered to remember, and I don't think are ever included in the movie, she starts to turn back into a cartoon.
Yeah.
And like the world around her kind of goes crazy. It's like, weird time riff stuff. Like, you know, you spent too much time in here and now doodle stuff is just going to start popping all over the place. And having, you know, having the MacGuffin, spike of power just makes the worlds bleed into each other a little too much.
Yeah.
It goes crazy. But I'm glad that happens because it brings in the cartoon nonsense back, because it's almost, when it starts doing the mannequin and splash thing, it almost makes the movie boring.
Yeah.
For a period of time.
Yeah, our world is the boring world. And like, it's like, as a kid, I always thought about Wizard of Oz like that, where everybody, like, she wants to get home so bad. Why do you want to get back to Kansas? Like, there's winged monkeys here. This place is pretty cool. Like, yeah.
And, you know, I brought up Little Mermaid kind of as a joke, but like, at least in that movie, when you see Ariel interacting with the human world, she can't talk. And nobody's stopping her from doing anything. So she's having a blast. And like, because she's not like utterly befuddled by anything, she's just going for it. It's like, okay, that's a version of the trope that I can get behind because you're clearly having fun.
You mentioned the splash moment. I could never understand it because I've had a crush on Daryl Hannah since I was, since that movie. And like, I remember there's that scene where Tom Hanks is like, how dare she eat that crab like that? And I'm like, I don't care. Like, she can do whatever she wants. Like that is not putting me off.
No. I think that was one of the things whenever we first started dating is because I destroy crabs. I was like, here's the thing is like, I can't eat crab legs in front of you for like a couple of months because once you see that side of me,
there's food you don't eat on dates, like sushi and wings, like because there's no way to eat it like a normal human being. And, this happened. I was in a business meeting with all my CEOs and they said, oh, they have really good French onion soup at this place. And I'm like, oh, I love that. But oh shit, I have to eat this and not get it all over myself. And I'm also not used to being around humans anymore because I work from home. So I'm like, this is a bad situation.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It was all fun and games until they brought the soup in.
They brought the soup and I was like,
no.
Am I going to have to do what my mother-in-law does and literally make a bib, in front of these important people? But luckily I said, if I eat the soup slowly, everything will be fine. I looked up some reviews of this movie for you and Roger Ebert gave it 1 out of 4.
Oh yeah. I remember him not liking it. What did he have anything to say?
Oh my God.
But the sad fact is this film is a mess. The story cannot be followed, the characters are badly defined, and the animation is often so chaotic and overwrought and speeded up that it's physically difficult for the human eye to even perceive what's supposed to be happening. You can't read these images.
Okay, so I agree with that completely.
But that's why you like it, right?
I was going to say, it would be that exact text, 5 stars.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. When I was a kid, I always thought that that's what would happen when I went through puberty. That my eyes would be able to pop out of my head like the whoop, and someday I'll see a girl and this will happen. It's not. I've tried, but it's not. But to me, that is like the adult world as a kid. The adult world would be these jazz clubs where everybody wolves wear zoot suits and come in and look at human looking women dance on stage.
Yes.
And my world has not been as good.
Tex Avery, Red Hot Riding Hood. It's iconic for a reason. The Mask, took inspiration from that. I think that particular club scene was done perfectly in The Mask. In Cool World, no. Reality, where it's like, if you see human Kim Basinger.
Yeah.
And then you know what she looks like as a cartoon. So when she glitches out and the cartoon is wrong, that is a visual cartoon cue that things aren't going right. Is it lazy? Kind of. But if you are somebody who grew up understanding the logic of cartoons, this makes sense. And even if you were somebody who just likes surrealist films, which I do, that's like very basic kind of, we're going to do like montage and like the classic film theory sense of like image 1, image 2, image 1, image 3.
Yeah. I love that because I think sometimes when you read reviews or you hear people don't like it, they're not approaching the movie understanding that visual language. Like a movie I have to defend all the time is I Know Who Killed Me, which, okay, it's not a great movie, but if you watch it knowing it's a giallo, you're like, oh yeah, it makes sense because everything reviewers said, like, it doesn't make sense. Why did she have a twin? Sometimes things just aren't real and sometimes they aren't. I'm like, yeah, it's lizard and woman skin. It's very similar. Like, it's like that feel. And if you approach it with that lens, and if you look at this, like you said, is a surrealist and animated movie where the laws of animation come into our world and they can't, the 5D world of that can't exist with our 3D world, for example. Like, there's something really cool to that. And that's what I take out of it.
I also just like the fact that it's unabashedly sleazy. Like, pulling in from like other sources of like inspiration and cartoons and stuff like that. There are just times, and I guess this is really like what us three all really like, not just horror, but no, the thing that has been kind of tying what we're all talking about together, and this is also something that extends to like the Groovy Doom family, is exploitation. And there's two different types of exploitation. This is coming from a non-binary person. Like, I don't believe in dichotomies, but there is a dichotomy here. There is honest exploitation and there is dishonest exploitation. When it comes to talking about Cool Girl, this is honest exploitation. Why do we need sex in order to cross over to get from the world of the Doodles into the world of the Noids? Because we want sex in our movie. And I appreciate honest sleaze. It's fine. Like, yes, there's like the surrealist element of like the worlds do not belong together in the way that they should coexist, even though they're mirrors of each other. So that kind of tension breaking and causing things to just like decay into cartoon nonsense is powerful. But you know what else? You weren't supposed to have sex. And this nightclub scene has gone on for far too long. Bring back the cartoon weird shit.
Yeah.
That's honest. And I like that.
Yeah. It feels like, this feels like the New York, like roughies, like exploitation wise. And that's what I like about it. And like, it's so funny to me though, like when I go back and watch that or like early pre-Gore Herschel Gordon Lewis or like Russ Meyer stuff, it's like, people went to jail for these movies. And like, when you watch them now, like, these are very clean. These are like, it's just women playing volleyball with their tops off. I'm like, we got to round up all the perverts that like this.
It's like Russ Meyer's like, he knew what he wanted, and his actors knew that too. And like, okay. Off the guy.
Yeah.
Russ Meyer's a very honest filmmaker to me, where it's just like, this is the body type that I like. I want to see it. I want to explore it. And that's my movie. Speaking of Roger Ebert, somebody that worked with him, the weird thing about this, I love looking up, and a lot of it is, I always call it IMDb BS. Like, you know, it's like, oh, who was supposed to be in this? But one of the, like, originally Drew Barrymore was going to play Hollywood, which I don't think works.
No.
I love Drew Barrymore, but she's not right for this. No. But Tracy Wars
absolutely could have.
Who was?
Daryl Hannah could have.
Oh, yeah. And Tracy Wards was another person considered for it, which, like, look-wise, like, makes sense. Like, it feels like Hollywood has some of the Tracy kind of look to her, too. Willem Dafoe was supposed to play Jack originally. And in the original script, Hollywood's name is Debbie Dallas, which is a little too on the head, right?
That's too on. Too on.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they showed restraint there.
Yeah. That almost feels like that takes it into the nudie cutie world where it's like, oh, that's your name. Like, or James Bond girl names where it's like, this takes me out of the movie completely.
Do you remember what the name of the movie was? Down Dirty Duck?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crossing into that territory.
Yeah. Or like, Tarzan Shame of the Jungle, the animated.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I get that you want to say dirty things, but it's like, it's put like 10% more art into this. And like, I think that's, again, like you said, cartoons, Merry Melodies and the Looney Tunes stuff, they're for adults. They played for adult movies. And it's like, I think that's where we talked about pearl clutching for the first movie. I think a lot of people were like that with this movie. They're like, well, this movie's a little too sexy for being a cartoon. What if kids watch it? I'm like, well, look at the rate.
Like, have you watched Betty Boop? Got, they had cartoons of Betty Boop that they could not show in theaters because she smoked.
Yeah.
And drank alcohol.
Now she's going to be a slasher villain, because public domain.
You know what? I would be down if somebody did that, but made it be kind of like, do like a noir.
Yeah.
Of her being like, like a dangerous dame with a Dillinger in her garter. Like if they had her be like a mass murderer doing something like that.
Yeah.
Especially if they made it like with like a cartoonishly like big head.
Yeah.
Like, what were we talking about with Dog Police and what we thought, it looked like Dick Tracy.
Oh,
like
I just had someone defend Dick Tracy on the show, and like, the more you think about, Ryan Verrill did, and like, the more you think about Dick Tracy, is like, it's a whole world where every single person has makeup on. Like, it's insane how much is happening in it.
I would love, like, I don't think that the drive-ins could afford it, but I would love a double feature of Dick Tracy and Cool World. I think that would be a great double feature.
Yeah. And there are also two movies that, like, this is what I love about so much early 90s movies. Like, that people believe that these are going to be becoming a blockbuster and that these were going to be big movies. Inherently, they're both so weird. Like, how did you think this? And also, it's also that time post Burton Batman where, like, that's how these movies got greenlit. We're like, well, Batman's a cartoon. No, it's a comic book. Like, whatever. Like, I'm a producer, you know, I'll do it. And it's like, and then that's why you get movies like The Phantom and The Shadow, where it's like,
yeah,
Billy Corgan used more other than me, you know?
Yeah. And shit, that's actually why, you know, I was really excited to see Iron Lung yesterday, because the video game was such a beloved pick. Like, whenever it first came out, it made a lot of people's top 10 lists, but, you know, the indie genre doesn't really get the same kind of love that, you know, like the AAA games make and stuff like that. And, you know, it took somebody who had the means to make that.
Seems like that's non-AAA video games are the new properties they're getting, like the Mortuary Assistant's coming out.
So for what it's worth, I know that I'm sticking to Cool World. This is my movie. Yeah. I will defend the first Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Oh, really? Well, I've never seen it. Yeah, go please.
It was decent. It was I feel like, speaking of, Sam is a big Five Nights at Freddy lore fan. I went in kind of blind. I will give it the same feeling I give the new Toxic Avenger. It is a way to adapt a horror story like that, but for a modern, like, larger audience, and to make it just enjoyable. Like, there's still elements of scariness and it's still creepy, still has the lore, but it's still, like, enjoyable on a bigger level.
So the two reasons why I like the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, keeping it brief. The reason number one, the Five Nights at Freddy's lore throughout the video games is so convoluted. The movie did the absolute best thing, and it took all that lore and threw it in the garbage and just stuck to basics and kind of had its own set of logic that it stuck with for the rest of the film, and it worked. Reason number two, it is the best PG-13 horror movie that I have seen in a really long time that wasn't boring slop, that wasn't meant to be just like, all right, kids, come to the theater and make out with your girlfriend. Nothing's actually going to happen in this movie. It was engaging. And I think it's a good, like, step up movie for kids. Like, you know, Oscar really likes Scooby-Doo. And I feel like if you're the kind of person who really likes Scooby-Doo and you want to, like, show your kids something a little bit scarier, like, this is a really good way to, like, up that ante a little bit. Or, like, my usual go-to is Trick or Treat. Yeah, because that's like a very nice little anthology movie. It's perfect for Halloween, so kids are already in that mentality, and it's like just gory enough that it's, you know, like, oh, this is something adults like, but it doesn't, like, go too far. And I feel like the Five Nights at Freddy's movie accomplishes that. And it also just, you know, it had a lot of heart in it, and I will defend that. But, you know, kind of going back around to Cool World, again, this conversation feels a lot like the movie.
Yeah. But this is what it's like to talk to me. Sorry. I am 80.
No, it's no. It's all there. But, like, this was something that was made with a love of the medium in mind, even if it was, like, very passive aggressive, even if it was nothing like the movie that was supposed to be made. Like, that love of the medium is there. And anytime somebody has that in a movie, even if it's bad, if that, like, that love of what you are doing is there, you will have my attention.
I love movies though, like the crossover animation. It's why I like Evil Toons, even though the budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. The budget for Evil Toons is like,
honest, please.
Oh, well, it has adult stars all over it. Madison's. Yeah. But, and it's like, has like 5% of the budget of this movie. Well, I'm excited. You made me think more about Cool World than I probably ever have before. And The Ring.
Yes. I'm due for a rewatch of it.
Yeah.
So that's it. Very well. We our palate cleanser after a beautiful day with our son, like once he's in bed for the night, we're going to settle down and watch Apocalypse Now together.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So just completely abandoning all the other genres we talked about.
No, but you know what? I think that's what I love. Just like when a movie works, like you can lose yourself in it and forget the day and forget all the things that you've been through. And that can happen in a shot on video, and that can happen in, like a big budget movie. Like that's why I always talk about airplane movies on my site. Like I hate flying.
Yeah.
But like I always try to find what is the worst airplane movie that I can lose myself in and just love it. Like Reagan is like, I would never watch Reagan, but I'm stuck on a plane for 6 hours. Like this seems to be the movie to watch because I can't walk out of it. So it's challenging. And when Scott Stapp showed up as Frank Sinatra, I was like, this is like every single right wing star was in it. And I was like, this is amazing. I couldn't stop laughing. And I'm sure the lady next to me thought I was a lunatic. But yeah, like I watched The Strangers 2, this flight, and it was like why does this movie even exist? No. And it's like, why did they get to make 3 of them? That's
the thing. Yeah. It's like, they spent more money on the marketing than they did the actual movie for the first one. I swear to God.
And it's all shot in Eastern Europe. So it doesn't look like him. The second one is Halloween 2. It is, my wife hates when I go off on these rants, but I was freaking out about Rennie Harlan the other night. I'm like, honestly, other than Die Hard 2, no one has had more failures in Hollywood. Like he had Ford Fairlane, Cutthroat Island, these Rangers movies. Like he is bombed numerous times. He has to have pictures of somebody or something. He's Long Kiss Goodnight did well, but he's not somebody that has, and I like Ford Fairlane, which is a horrible movie that I can defend. These are the kind of things that I defend. And
he has to.
Like Uwe Boll territory of this, how are you doing this?
Right. See, you need to start a separate podcast for us to tear movies apart.
Oh, okay. What we can tear apart if I picked you guys to be on? Oh,
no, hands down, it would be a tie between Hard Candy and Seed.
Those are, I haven't seen either of those, so we should do this. It sounds like a good idea. Bring you guys back and tear up movies. I would,
yeah.
Actually, which one would you do?
Oh, God. I don't know. Think about that one.
Yeah. So let us.
Sucker Punch would be mine.
Sucker Punch. Yeah.
I love that this movie is the heroic, and I'm going to spoil the ending of it because I hate that movie. The heroic ending is that she gets her brain taken out, and we're all supposed to be okay with that. And it's I wanted these girls are tough and independent and show their authority by dressing as sexy as they can. It's the bad side of exploitation.
Yeah, that's dishonest sleaze.
Yeah.
That is dishonest sleaze. I like the straight up, hey, guess what? The sexy lady that is in this movie is going to be sexy and she's going to do sex stuff. And that's what this movie is about. Boo. Thank you.
It's they read about Tora Satana and they're like, can I get some of that? But also she's in control of herself the entire time. And kills guys and is unabashedly who she is. And versus the girls in this movie are I don't know what world I'm in. And it's the whole thing felt like I was watching cutscenes in a PS2 game. And I was like, when do I get to play? Never. You just get to watch. And it's just, I hate when people bring up any Zack Snyder stuff to me and they're like, these are great movies. No, they're not.
No, Zack Snyder needs stopped. That's my PSA. Don't watch Zack Snyder, watch Cool World.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't watch The Fanatic, watch The Ringer.
Oh, yeah, don't watch The Fanatic, watch The Ringer.
The one with Moosey, The Fanatic?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oops. My brother saw that live at Toronto Fan Fest with John Travolta.
Oh my.
And the DCP of it died during the last 10 minutes and they didn't have it. So John Travolta had to stand up and explain the end of the movie to the entire audience while people booed at him.
That feels very appropriate for this movie.
I would rather see that than the actual movie that came out. That's awesome.
Please look into the camera and explain why you had to pretend you were mentally disabled.
It's such, I don't know who that movie, my favorite thing about that movie, if there is a favorite thing, is I didn't realize Fred Durst directed it.
Yeah.
There's that 10-minute scene where, what's his name describes to his son why he should listen to Limp Bizkit. And he's like, you like Biscuit? Biscuit's the best. And I'm like,
you okay with some music? You like a little Limp Biscuit?
Sure.
You like a little Biscuit?
Yeah.
Yeah? Listen loud. I used to listen to this back in the day. This is hot. Oh my God, that is nice. That is nice. Here we go, baby.
why is this in the movie? And then at the end, it says directed by Fred Durst.
Yeah.
That's who that movie was for. It was a movie directed for and by Fred Durst.
All right, partner. Keep on rolling, baby. You know what time it is.
His only directing credit before that, other than Limp Bizkit videos, was Match.com commercials, which is true and amazing. Like, I love that. Like, if I was working in an ad agency and like, hey, Fred Durst wants to direct your commercial, I'd be like, I don't know.
Hey, he read about Nookie. He knows what he's talking about. Love Nookie is the same thing, right?
Yeah. He's what is the old Craigslist for it? Casual Encounters, the Nookie.
Casual Encounter, yeah.
Oh my God, no. Casual Encounters of the third comment.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks guys for being on. Do you guys want to give me some plugs here that we can have people search you guys out and find you on?
Yes, you can find us online. You're at facebook.com/The Stolen Stitches, on Instagram at The Stolen Stitches.
I am on most social media tags as at Hot Toddy Cartoon Queer. That is TODDIE. We are going to be performing eventually somewhere.
Off the snow mountains. On the Alabama in Texas this summer.
Oh,
out in Laredo, I believe, and San Antonio. If you're out in the Maryland area, about 2 hours away here, we're performing at a place called the Deep End here next month in March. In March. And, yeah.
Yeah.
No based, tricks or stunts.
We'll work around to it. I definitely, we honestly miss doing stuff for Groovy. Yeah,
Yeah, we need to film some stuff for you guys at some point. But, yeah, we're also always happy to take gigs. We're available for funerals, weddings, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, children's birthday parties.
We've done 2 of them.
We have.
Girls or birthday parties?
Birthday party. I did see there was a funeral home that was screening Phantasm. I was like, I need to get in on this market here because that is just, my God, that is so perfect.
Yeah. But yeah, you'll catch us around.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thanks guys for being on, and look forward to coming back on and hate watching a movie with me.
Bye.
Hello, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from movies that have been renamed, like Come Teach Me, The Rah Rah Girls, Dead People, Deep Swamp, Hex Massacre, Snuff Is My Game, Lynn Hart, The Strange Love Exorcist, The Honey Factor, and of course, Revenge from Planet 8. I'm here to do the end of the show. B&S About Movies has a website, bndsaboutmovies.com. You can donate to the Ko-fi page at ko-fi.com/bandsaboutmovies. Learn more about our guests at facebook.com/The Stolen Stitches. Thanks for listening.